Hello, Voxel Pro here. We're going to enter Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. We're just gonna start the game and we're gonna make a whole series out of it. I'm just gonna load up one of my previously finished games, so yeah. Gotta go with very easy because it's the quickest way to get it done. Also, I'm hoping that as we're continuing through this series, that we will understand the Metal Gear lore. Hopefully, answer some questions about why this whole franchise is so confusing.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
David Hayter, always nice. Let's get it. Jim Piddock, he was actually in I don't know if you guys seen it, Think Like a Man 2. He's actually the butler.
Approaching Soviet
He's a
20 minutes to drop off.
Zero here. He's that guy with the headset.
Equipment check. Arm main parachute. All right.
Yeah, that British guy
Ready to
speaking.
go.
Yeah.
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay. Good. We've got high visibility.
Kojima always knows how to make an intro. It's awesome.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask.
Is it just me or does his face say
Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
does his face say like shut up. I don't want to be bothered.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf? He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Nothing like useless slow-mo actions for absolutely no reason.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes
But
to
it does
drop
make
off.
it
Opening
seem
rear
kind of
hatch.
epic, I guess, in a way. So. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that the first time I played it. I didn't even notice that his head's at Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. I didn't even notice that. That's kind of cool.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
Like, if any of you are watching, pause the video when it zooms in on Snake's mask, and it'll say Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Promise.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model. This is one for the history books. The world's first Halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spread your wings and fly. God be with you.
So at this point in the game, in the franchise I should say, takes place in, I believe, 1964. So.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the Virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the Virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's
I
foremost
wonder how
expert on
Fox
weapons
got
development.
started.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
That makes no sense
The
whatsoever.
rocket that carried
Whatsoever.
Yuri Gagarin to orbit
I should say.
was the A-1.
That makes no sense
Vostok
whatsoever.
rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west.
I'm not gonna lie to
He
you
was the mole to get
guys.
the family out first, and
This is a
succeeded in sneaking
long
Sokolov
cutscene.
over the Berlin
It's
Wall
just-
shortly
just
afterwards.
brimming with
I was the one
just-
who conducted the operation.
The
no.
security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something
The
much
Cuban
bigger
Missile
on our
Crisis.
hands.
The
Yup.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse.
Why is everything a cover story? Why not just
So what did
tell the
Russians
truth from
really
the
want?
get?
Sokolov.
I think you would avoid like a whole lot of problems that way.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba?
I'm
just
not
to
saying
get their
every
hands on
way. I'm
Sokolov?
just saying
That's right.
a lot of ways,
What the hell was he working
especially in
on?
the Metal Gear franchise.
At the time, we had no idea.
Something
We were
was
running
always
out
a
of
cover
time.
story.
It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov.
Who was the mole?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No.
I was about to
Missile.
say,
Same technology.
missiles and rockets
I guess
are
you're
essentially
right.
the same.
The
It's
details,
just
but
that
it appears to
one
be a
explodes on impact.
For half a year now, the
And the other
Soviets
one
have been
doesn't, I guess.
conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selino Yask, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
I like how everything is going through his head as he's like free falling from like thousands of feet. Like, did he even have time to sequentially think of all that? Like, flashback to all that, play it out in a justly manner while he was falling?
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino Yask in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the west. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking.
Oh, the crisis has yet to begun.
Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point.
If you look up, it's the picture of the Fox logo, if you want to know. I did it before, I just didn't feel like doing it.
We'll latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy.
Like I said, I played this game before a lot, so
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talent?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast,
and all
Trust
the
me,
rest
there
of your
won't be a
meals in the
problem.
jungle.
okay, that doesn't count. That doesn't count as a problem. Trust me, it doesn't count. That's not a problem. It'll take like 5 seconds. David Hayter. Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of like the best storylines of the Metal Gear franchise that's out there. It's definitely top tier. The era is right. The technology is not too high and it's not too low. It's perfect.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
Alright, let's start this mission. Careful. Nice. Oh my god.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack.
Still, this is a
choose
you know,
weapon
even
from
though
the
I've played this
backpack.
game a lot,
Your available weapons will be
sometimes
displayed in a window in the
I
upper
can't
left.
get used to the longness
list,
of it,
choose the
so
weapon
I
you want to
usually
equip and
skip
press the
it. I
enter
usually
button.
just
For other equipped items,
whatever,
just do the
but
same thing from item.
figure
Got it.
since I'm posting
Use the
this,
survival viewer backpack.
go for broke,
Yep, that's
we're
right.
understanding the lore.
Survival
So,
is fundamental to this mission. After you've been
We'll
out
get
in
it
the
in.
field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly. Keep an eye on your stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun.
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire. Once its durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger happy with it. The suppressor's durability is shown in the icon.
I will
Any
admit
weapons and equipment
that
beyond
all
what
the
you're
Metal
carrying
Gear
now,
games
you'll have to
that's
find as you go.
after
I have to find my own weapons
3,
and equipment. Whose
it does
crazy
do
idea
that.
was this
The
anyway?
suppressors do
Solo
deteriorate,
covert
and
actions are
I
standard
kinda like
Fox
that.
operating procedure.
it makes you a
Can't
lot
leave
smarter
any
with your
traces of your presence.
choices
No
when
weapons,
using the
equipment,
weapon, like
footprints,
when to use the
sweat, or
weapon and
bodily
when not
waste.
to.
The same goes for bullets and cartridges.
So that's
too.
pretty good.
Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word. And there'll be no rescue if you're captured. The military and US government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take care of myself, huh?
I'm afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SIS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back.
So how's that work?
I'll keep it
Like,
in
if
mind.
you're, like,
You
let's
said
say
this
you're
was a solo
unconscious
mission, right?
Right.
and you
I
take the
guess that means
pill,
I can't count
and you
on
take the
any
pill,
reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests
how do you activate the
entirely
thing in
hands.
your tooth if you're
Real
unconscious?
one-man
That
army.
means you have to be some
Relax.
type of
There's a
conscious
support
to
team ready to back
activate
you up
the
over the radio.
Who?
other revival
introduce them to
thing,
you.
the other
This time,
revival pill.
Survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the
So.
support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition.
Whatever.
Acting as a medic, so to speak, as
It's a
well as
game.
recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She.
Hello, Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for
Eh,
short.
Phantom
You're regular
pain.
Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was the boss that got the DCI's authorization in the first place. She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
Boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me. Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
You
It's
know,
been
if I
5
were to
years,
pick up an
72
actor,
days, and
an
18
actress to
hours.
play the boss
lost weight.
in a movie, it'd probably be
You can
Jodie
tell
Foster.
just by the sound
Probably
of my
would be.
voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about you.
Either that or Jane
What's
Lynch.
that supposed to mean?
Why'd you disappear on me all of a sudden?
I was on a top secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think.
I'm pretty
You'll
sure
just have to
semantics would
figure it out
disagree
for
with you.
yourself. Listen to me.
Just saying.
Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
For those
Is
of
that
you
why
who
you
are paying
abandoned me?
attention to this
No,
conversation,
It had nothing to do with you.
it's important.
I already told you, Jack.
It's really important.
I was on a top secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
That's
Then
true.
Who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
What is it?
Call me Snake.
Snake. Oh, right. Your code name is Snake. It suits you well.
That's right. The legendary unit that the boss put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit. A group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes?
It's good to hear your voice again.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you were always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
All right, we'll wrap this up with the cutscene, and I'll see you guys later.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Commencing virtuous mission now.